Here we are with another Friday Night Live, June 17th, 2022. Got some tangulation happening. Hope everybody's doing amazing. Another beautiful, beautiful day today. Nice and warm, some wind. That sunshine is always a blessing. Let's see if we can get a sound check over here, just to make sure. I think it's okay. If anybody's there, let me know. You can hear me. Wait a few minutes to see if anybody shows up. I just heard news from an old master faster, some wonderful, great news, and hopefully they will share their update. One of the major miracles that we've witnessed so often. It's just a blessing, blessing, blessing to be able to be part of, helping out and witnessing these transformations that are forever life-changing. There's just no better pleasure in the world to see somebody be able to turn everything around with snapping of fingers. And snapping of fingers is a few years of hard work, especially in severe, challenging situations of health. Like we say, 9 years is a good start. And, somebody has been working at it for, I don't know how many years now, at least 5, 6 years. So it's wonderful to see. Never, ever give up. What else are you going to do? What's the alternative? Go to the pharma cartel? Okay, you can do that. Good luck. It's not a place that I would choose unless there's an emergency that requires that kind of stuff. And for each person, each soul, they will have to make that determination, because we cannot make that determination for anybody else, right? For somebody, a cold, they'd be running to ER. For somebody else, unless they have like a broken bone or crushed bone or something, they wouldn't be going there. A heart attack or something like that. But living this lifestyle, unless we're in some very deep emotional disturbances, stress from unlimited situations, we shouldn't be going down those paths, right? Shouldn't, but nothing's guaranteed in this realm. There is no guarantees. The only guarantee is when you're born, you'll have a certain amount of time, and then you will exit this physicality. It's the only guarantee we have. Right? So let's choose wisely the things we want to do in this realm. Because this realm is here for a certain purpose. Give me 1 sec here so I can shut this off. All right. Sorry about that. Forgot to turn the other laptop off. But it is to be, it's up to me. How long is it going to take? As long as it takes. No matter what, just keep going. Keep going, keep going. We know what works. Without doubt, we know what works. And the only thing that doesn't work is if we don't work it, we don't live it and love it. So, what's the situation? What's the plan? What's the mood? It's personal. Personal. And there's unlimited influences that will sway us in certain different directions. So we have to be disciplined to stay on track and be able to keep moving one foot in front of the other. Sometimes we're going to fall down and get up, there'll be a few steps back, and we keep going, make up the what we've lost and keep going. Life is beautiful. We make our own lives in the opposite directions when we choose situations of imbalance ongoing over and over and over. It doesn't have to be that way, but everything happens exactly the way it's supposed to. There's a reason for everything. But we do have free will. I believe that we can change things because we've seen it happen over and over and over. I've experienced it myself, and we've seen many, 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 many others experience that. If anybody has any questions, now's a good time. Forever hold your peace. It's a quiet night. Quiet night. We got some nice, the garden's really nice this year, and we started doing more composting and brought in some more soil. We extended a little bit in the backyard, so we can put a few extra plants. Our dwarf apple tree has got some apples on it this year. I think, when did we plant it? 2 or 3 years ago. So it takes a few years before you start seeing the fruit of your labor, depending on the fruit trees and what kind of fruit. I think durian takes a lot longer, if I remember. There's some plants that take quite a few years. There's some that you may see fruit in 1 or 2 years, depending on what it is. Some vines. We got some Concord grape, and we got new vines shooting up. It's awesome. We got a few different berries: gooseberries, blackberries, blueberries, raspberries, strawberries. What was the other one? Can't remember. Yeah. Maybe we should try and get some goji berries, maybe. Goji berries grow well up here. Berries are awesome. You know, look at the bear. You go in the wild, and when we were in BC or wherever the blueberry plants were, you see bear feces out everywhere. They're just gorging on blueberries. They are omnivores, but the majority of their diet is plant-based. So it's a beast of an animal who goes in hibernation and dry fast for 6-7 months a year. Imagine that. No food, no water. Pretty interesting, excuse me, pretty interesting. The design of the different species. Why do only a few species hibernate? Isn't that strange? It's interesting. There's reasons for it that we possibly can't have the understanding unless we go into the information of the divine creator to connect with that and why it did happen. Just trying to figure it out with microscopes and all that. It's going to be a losing battle. You know, certain reasons to keep the balance for sure, but those animals are not roaming around in the winter, where you go into polar bears and they're living in that Arctic weather. I don't know if polar bears hibernate. Does anybody know that? I'm not sure about polar bears. Do polar bears hibernate? It's an interesting one. Let's see if we can figure that one out. Why polar bears don't hibernate? Okay, we got our answer. Interesting. So they don't hibernate, and they're a huge monster of creation. I think the polar bear is bigger than the grizzly. I think it was. Yeah, it's a big beast. They have a different diet, right? There's no no plants in the Arctic unless there's an area where they have summer with some plant growth. Interesting what their diet would be completely. I'm not sure. I'm talking about the regular general bears and black bears, and grizzly bears, and I don't know, brown bears and whatever other type there are. A few different species of bears. Hibernation. Just think about that. They just go into a deep sleep and wake up months later. Beautiful, beautiful things Creator has done. Perfection. Even though we don't see nature as perfect because of our ignorance, the perfection is there for us to witness if we take a step back and pause and look around and see what's happening. Perfection is there. We just can't see it. We in this realm is, we're not perfect in any way, shape, or form, but there's a perfection in the creation, and that is what we can connect to, that knowledge of perfection, to see things in a whole different light, so we can have more of an understanding and appreciate every aspect and every speck of creation, right down to the atom, and it goes beyond the atom as far as micro. It's just we can't see it because there's the infinite of expansion and outwards and inwards. So we know of the atom as the smallest thing, but it doesn't, it keeps going on infinite inwards as well. The micro, we can't conceptualize that with our mind. It's too primitive, the physical mind. It's amazing. What's happening, mother?
How's it going, Gino? No, awesome, man. I was just listening to you and really getting a nice refresh of that good vibe, for the lifestyle. I thought, this time, might not miss you. Hopefully, every time, I make it happen, because helps me really build discipline. I mean, personally, and you were really talking about that good stuff of connecting in that space, in the beyond, right, deep inside, and and be grounded there and get a better understanding of things to even express even more gratitude, right? That's what we're sharing, and completely agree.
What time is it there? You're 6 hours ahead, I think.
It's 3 hours and 17. But I've been just, man, my lifestyle right now is being erratic. It's funny. I was just reminding myself of we get new highs and certain new lows, but there's a certain balance we can keep ourselves on to avoid sometimes falling in too deep in certain lows, right?
Yeah.
Hold on, I'm trying to fix the lighting. But the funny thing is, I've been reflecting a lot. There's something I never considered as I always wanted things very fast. Is this beauty of you plant a seed and you let it grow, and the same thing with whatever we're doing. And sometimes it's like an emotional momentum that we create. It takes energy to create a certain emotional momentum. For example, for me, it's funny, like, always try to go for long. Like, I always play with that attitude, and I realize I need a couple of days, man, to gather up the energy. But once I'm gone, man, I can keep on going. But I really need to keep focused and avoid these little slight distractions, because let's say, for example, you fall off a little bit, and if you lose the emotional momentum, man, you can be gone for days, and then you do like a boomerang effect. And this energy management has been really something I've been really trying hard to be disciplined on, because it comes also with the material abundance in that same way, and in the art of fasting, how to really manage your energy in your lifestyle, in your environment, so that you are nourished as well in that same sense, right? And I've been able to make it though today. It's been awesome, man. This lifestyle is trying to relate now, because just I don't know, just some thoughts, man.
The long ones, look at how many people have done long ones, and the massive transformations happen because you're going in a place of total nothingness for extended times, so the soul can do a lot of work.
Right.
But don't underestimate, living and loving it with fasting on a week-to-week basis.
Right, right.
Especially if you start getting into the about 5 days a week. You're only eating like a couple of days a week. When you start getting up to that, man, you're gonna go deep as well. It's going to be a slower process than going all out. But
I know, man, for sure. I've done like personally, I've done all kinds of things, and it's just sometimes I get cycles. Where there's something that comes up, man. I mean, like I think for a lot of us, right? But there's some stuff, there's few little things that just make me go to oblivion, certain emotions, like there's certain things, certain times that come out, and yeah. It's been interesting. It's very hard to put in words, these kind of things that happen, because it's very subtle, it's very subtle, trying to really find a balance in my environment, what I'm getting exposed to. I have to be very, very careful, man, and compared to before, as well, because I get to catch this momentum much faster, I can keep myself there and really, but the moment I fall off, man, it's like, wow, there's
this is the thing. Do you want to fall
man,
off
it's
after 108 days, or do you want to fall off after a week-to-week basis? Big difference. Big difference in
no, for
danger.
sure, exactly. That's why I keep myself, there in that spot, always on the fire, always trying to, because I know whatever I'm doing, like I'm always getting helped by the environment, as well, in some sense. Like we're guided, and just like it's like God knows, God observes us and knows really our heart, and if we're really, really, really meant for something right now, if we really put in the effort and the focus, and making it worth, right, like putting the discipline to be aligned with it, right, doing your part, because sometimes, like, there's things that, as we go along on this path and there's new challenges, sometimes we might take things for granted. And also that thing is also very subtle to perceive, because even in the act of I don't know, going very deep and gaining a state that you can always come back to, certain attitude that arises spontaneously and that sometimes you take for granted, but you forget the work that you had to put and that you have to keep on putting to maintain that attitude, right? And that's a young mind, I'd say, that's a young mind. I never really had like a father figure as well. So that kind of masculine discipline, I really need to build up, and the energy and all that, really keep that consistency. That's where I'm trying to go.
You weren't disciplined.
Yeah, no, definitely, man. Like
Not
really,
for your mother?
No, neither of the two. I was just left there like to
You got a lot of work to do. It's
yeah.
a lot tougher when we're not disciplined by the parents,
Oh man,
but it's
right
not
now,
impossible. You just got to make the decision and work at discipline.
yeah, exactly, right. But it takes, there's that despair that comes out, because like really have to be humble where you at, what do you have to do, and that is something really hard, and it's funny because I live with my brother, we kind of share a little bit certain things, that we're doing, for example, the trading, and I always go back to that because I tell him, when you need to stop doing it, like otherwise you get lost, for example, because the trading, I talk like that, in these words to really focus on really the play. I say it's the devil's game. So whenever you're trading, you have like an emotional tank that you're using, and the same for a lot of things, talking about energy management. And I tell him, after you've been exposed to money, because we're attached, to lots of things, we're attached, it's inevitable, I'm telling him, your mind seems to be focused, but where do you come from? The mind, who is in charge now? Where is it focused? Is it still focused on the heart, on the mission, on the alignment, or are you going somewhere else? And because sometimes you might get experiences as well that you need to integrate, so you have to stop whatever you're doing. And I mean, it's the same thing with this lifestyle, putting the energy magic management to make it happen, right? And yeah, just like I mean, for these days, the fasting, because really doing it effortless. And I do it much more effortless now than before, but much more. But then the thing is also, I take it for granted. And that, man, I can't believe how foolish I am. Sometimes you don't realize, you take it for granted that it's there. It's there for you. And, you don't put your conscience there anymore, and you lose it. And you have to come back to it. But it takes time as well.
What are you taking for granted? I missed that.
Oh, just the attitude of,
Oh,
yeah, living, empty, kind of, like you're really having, I mean, they cannot be craving in that space. There's this attitude where you're living good, like, like you're there. I mean, you're kind of, I don't know, it's you were never there, but it's like kind of the flow that we're always trying to be on, and just getting more and more attuned to it, like kind of this. But and when you lose it, you kind of lose it big, because sometimes, you talk about forces, that there are external forces in this earth, we may say demons or whatever, some stuff that's wicked and that's very present, affecting all of us, but how vulnerable are we to that, how vulnerable are we to that? And the moment, like, we're all invulnerable, like, you're protected. But as long as you remain in your heart, in your center, and sometimes, like, you need to put in the work, to put on the work, to keep yourself there. It's not a one thing, you do it and that's it. No, it's also something that you need to keep on going, right? And what I'm talking about is that, like, it happens to me sometimes. I just get lost, man, for certain days. There's all the signs, for example, it's been happening with the trading, I start going down that road, for example, with the fasting, you start eating and you forget about it and you make up excuses, and after 6 7 days, man, that you're there, and you're already far a long way, with a lot of emotions that have not been worked on, lots of things, lots and lots of things. And you realize as well that to go back to that place where it was kind of effortless, and well, you need as well like a week, of putting the attitude and dedicating yourself. And that's kind of where I'm at, to be honest. I'm really
yeah.
trying to get it on. It's been hard, man. But
What you said, when you're in the fasting state, it is effortless. You know how much more effort we need to do to eat, to go buy the food, prepare the food, eat the food. It's
it's
way
just,
more work. But we choose to be in that situation, for whatever reason, over and over and over again, right? Because we
yeah,
believe that we need to eat. But once you start cracking that code, you start opening up, and then you start realizing that, okay, yeah, I still like to eat, but I like the feeling of the fasting state better. So I'm going to try and be in those states more often, right, on a regular basis. And that's all it's about. Um, once you've been doing this a while, because if it's a lifestyle, you're always thinking about it.
right.
Once you're down the path, couple of years, yeah, it's okay. Just go move down the road of going into a longer one, so you can have that experience, because you mentally prepared with all the short ones, and breaking over and over and over and over again. So you have that sense of what's going on, and you can be ready. It's a much more powerful when you're doing a long hiatus, in level 7 for a long time, because you start stripping very deep levels. And that's why you see that magic happening much quicker, because you're digging, day after day after day after day. You're just digging and digging and digging and digging, instead of digging a few days, take a break, digging a few days, take a break.
Right.
But you're still going to go in layers. It's just going to take a lot longer that way. The long ones, they do have a purpose. They have a purpose for the people who are ready for them. That's all they're people who are ready for them. And how do
I
you know
love
you're
that
ready?
how that
Well,
sounds.
you,
That's
you,
lovely, man.
we're ready when we've been working at it for at least a couple of years. Like, I mean, really working at it,
Right, yeah,
regularly
the
fasting,
attitude, yeah.
week to week basis, or at least you're in every 2 week basis, or an absolute minimum, every month you're fasting for a few days at least. Because if you're not doing that, you're not living and loving it. It's just not going to happen.
Ah, exactly. Fortunately, I've been able to like keep, I'd say, at least like almost half since these first since the start of the year. Almost half the days I've been, I'd say a third, around between a third and a half of the days I've been fasting. I don't really count them. I try to really make it happen, and then I just get lost, man. I mean, especially right now, it's funny because as soon as I'm finally getting something and like kind of finally accepting an aspect of my life that would make the fasting part much easier, there's something else much bigger that comes up, man. That's awesome. That is awesome, man. There's always a bigger challenge, always a bigger challenge. And yeah, right now for me, it's been all about materialism, and these really deep rooted emotions of despair, and deep entanglement, man. Oh man, it's crazy how we
Let
just
it go, embrace it, let it go.
yeah, no, for sure. No, for sure. But the situation is very tricky, and it's just man, it's worth it. I mean, it's worth it because it's a challenge. And I had a loud mouth, always like the moment I have it good, I'm like, come on, God, break me down. Come on, what is that? Like it's too easy. And then get humbled right after. And then
Yeah,
back. And then
the, for those who choose the path, man, the rewards are huge and massive. I was speaking just at the beginning of what was contacted by one of an old master faster with some amazing news. Like, wow, man, just blew me away. Like, I knew they had it in them, and it's just it takes the time it takes because it's such a severe challenge case. Just gotta keep going and keep going
right,
and keep
exactly.
going
And
and watch what happens. Watch what
exactly.
happens. It happens and it works every time for those who live it and love it. Every time. The magic pill, immediate, instant gratification. Good luck. That's what most people are looking for.
Yeah.
Pop some supplements and this, that. Yeah, you're gonna feel some changes. So what? So what?
But what do we want? We want the real power, the powers of the consciousness, right? Not something external that, oh, you press that button, it happens. No, you want to feel it happening from the core of your soul. Like, wow, I can actually feel it. And even, no, I don't like the word control it, like, trying to control, but just yet, like, you have that understanding and how it moves and just the beauty and all of it. It's amazing.
Yeah, yeah, control. We can control the choices we make. Because we're always being influenced by many, many sources. So we have
Right.
to have some control, So that's a free will type of thing, and it goes through the discipline. The discipline is when we're doing little things to move toward the goal every single day, right?
Right.
You're staying with it every single day. You're doing something. You never let off of that. Because when you let off one day and then a couple more days, and then you're
Exactly.
off.
Oh,
So when you do it consistently, it's easier to stay with it. As what was that? Anthony Robbins from way back, his 30-day program. When you do something for 30 days, you can create a new habit. So that's why when people were doing the long MFSs, once you get past the month, man, you just keep going. It's a breeze.
that's true.
Especially for
That's very true. I felt it always around like 23 days, 24 days, like you start losing that relationship with food, and it's
yeah,
amazing. That's an
you're
amazing
lighter,
feeling of
more
freedom.
energy.
Freedom.
Yeah, for most people, like some people are gonna have big challenges and if they have serious health conditions and so on and so forth. But
The
what else you gonna learn?
freedom, man. I always come back to that actually. That's what always
Freedom.
keeps me going, these nice memories, you know. That's when I tell my mind how you're doing your purpose with these memories, you know. It brings
Freedom
back the
comes from
memories like, what do you want? Like, what do you really want? Even today, like, just amazing synchronicities. The
freedom comes
universe,
from the discipline, right? Because
yeah,
if you're not disciplined to work on your health, you're gonna pay a heavy price. And how's there freedom if you're in misery and pain and suffering and or in bedridden? Believe me, it's not fun. I was there. You don't want to be there. It's not a good place to be. It's a good learning experience if you want to look, because you always have to take the
no,
good
no,
out of everything. But I mean, it's not fun.
no,
It's a great
imagine, you
learning
know,
experience, actually. It really, you got to humble yourself when you get into those places and say,
have really real faith, like it forces you to have faith and just nothing else, right?
yeah, open your arms and say, okay, soul, what do I need to do? Because I know nothing.
So do nothing, and that's it.
Do nothing, right? Yeah, but people are bedridden. What are they doing? They're still eating.
Right, that's yeah, that
In
exactly.
hospitals, what do? They put a feeding tube if you can't
And
do
even
anything.
with the phone, like sometimes I joke with my mother, I'm always like, like it's good to be lazy, like doing but like actually do nothing. You with your phone, you're not doing anything. There's a lot of emotions that need to be processed and expressed. There's so much. If you keep your focus outside, how can you work that out, right? Like you have to feel inside. And yeah, the same as you said, like you see the animals, I mean, what do? They first they go hide, they don't want to be exposed to anything, or have anything come. Yeah, just this art of secluding and just reclusion. And yeah, that's amazing.
It's it truly is. You know, it's a remarkable experiences going into these places of nothingness and just surrendering and let it all happen. Because the beauty is now we have a little bit of knowledge on how do we support these states. We have that little bit of knowledge, very, very little. We have a scratch of knowledge. That's what MFS is, a scratch of the knowledge to how do we best support ourselves in those places. And, wow, when you can support yourself going to that, what are you doing to supporting? We're supporting the elimination process as best we
Right.
can from all levels and so on and so forth. When you can do that, wow. And this is where once we put the MFS out there, we started
Exactly.
seeing these miracles happen. Like I'm going, holy mac! I knew it was possible. It was happening at a grand rate like I've never seen before in the alternative health. Because there was a few things missing with the little bit of understanding that we've gained in Masterfast, and now we have a very good groundwork of all that, and it's a beautiful place to be for those who want to go down that path. It's not for everybody, that's for sure. Not for everybody. Healthy lifestyle is not for most
Yeah,
people.
and especially like as you said, like how do we keep ourselves in these places, right? You need to really it's really have that
Discipline.
connection, yeah, that discipline. And no, that for sure, it starts with that. I'm at the
We're
first steps too, but especially that love, being in that kind of relationship with like just the universe and yourself, that you can really go through everything with kind of at ease, even through the toughest challenges, but still stay connected. And Well, there's few things for that, right? There's always keys, but it's just a wonderful play there. Try to make it really happen, because we can say our love, be grateful. That helps you stay like in the, but they say, well, some say high vibration. You prefer the word field, high field strength, like it's different states of mind. But even there,
Yeah,
it's not about
most,
choosing one, it's still living all of them. And from that space, once again, you know, the effortless living of less is more.
yeah, the razor vibration, that's what's, being out there for many, many years, raising your frequencies and all that. These are all man-made conceptions.
Yeah,
That's
these
why
are all my words.
even field strength's a man-made concept, but it gives us a better picture. When you have the analogy of how the magnets work and everything, it's a field strength, and it relates and it gives you a better picture of what's really going on. We're not raising our vibration. We don't vibrate. This is nonsense. There's a flow, continual flow, and the stronger the flow, the more field strength we have. And that's why you see the magic happen. You increase that field strength and the body expands physically, mentally, emotionally. We expand in all directions. And we see magic happen, right? It's not rocket science. It's
That's true.
just
Even the aura,
basic
like
stuff.
bioelectrography, that sees the aura. Like if you do periods of meditation, concentration, you get that field strength, the aura that increases it. Also, if you do fasting, or all these kind of different things that aim to drive you back to a place of holistic, yeah. I mean, just proper balance, then you see the real colors start emerging. It's quite amazing how much light can emanate from inside of us. And you see that especially, I mean, on these long ones, when you start really to get clean, you shine, you shine. And even if you kind of living it, sometimes even, I'm doing fasting and eating, but I'm still kind of trying to keep myself there, just by keeping, very nice attitude, like a inner sense of joy that you choose to emanate. That makes it really, effortless as well. Just try to be on a joy train, for whatever reason. I'm so blessed. I used to be I used to not like that much the food delivery riding job, but man, it's amazing. I'm like, I get paid to ride around the town, deliver food
Stay
to
in shape.
people, and stay in shape. I do like 5-6 hours of riding every day. Helps me get everything moving, gives me energy actually. And I get to talk to a lot of people, and just spread some good vibes, man.
That's it.
This
Awesome.
is lovely, man. And yeah, in the meantime, I have this thing, this side thing of the trading, working by the day, I am ready with the attitude and the emotions. I can bring in the abundance and yeah, just expand and help the world. But I realize I stay humble, that I have a lot of work to do. It's the same thing I told myself, because there's that tendency of having a relationship, guy finding a woman finding a man, being together and doing this and all that, there it is built in us. But something I told myself at like 17, 18, I realized how little self-love I have for myself. I saw my brother in a really tough relationship, and I realized, man, I cannot be with anyone until I really get to love me properly. Otherwise, you just see what happens, and man, this is crazy.
Yeah,
I love it.
relationships is tough, right? There's relationships that you need to work at them every single day. And most people are not willing to work at them, and that's why we see divorce rates skyrocketed, and it just keeps increasing every year. People are not willing to work at it. It's all the me mentality. It's all about me.
Yeah, and
And
you cannot compare, like every relationship is also unique. You don't know what it needs right now. Let it arise spontaneously, like what needs to happen in the sake of love. And that, as you said, it's not me. You don't get to decide that. That's something that's very deep and mutual. and that there is no me in that, and that is amazing. Yeah, the relationships, another part, to make this lifestyle easy, right? Try to have really nice flowing relationships. If you try to ignore people, it makes it very hard to live this lifestyle, because you want to cover the emotions, really being it doesn't mean like always being accepting everything, you have to put your boundaries, but being true, that's also that's something also very interesting, man. I've been really experiencing trying to do this lifestyle, and just the relationships, how it pushes you also to actually be a better human, right? Because you do realize, man, if I behave not in a really good manner, then first of all, man, I realized that in these states, the emotions, they manifest themselves like very quickly physically. Like if you're mean, with your word, and you talk bad energy, and you have stuff coming out of in your mouth. Like, I don't know, I had one time, what's it called? Canker shores, in the
Oh,
mouth,
yeah.
mouth ulcers. And I was, yeah, because, I've always, that's where I come from, I mean, I started insulting my mother when I was 13, like, bad words and stuff. Like, there was always a lot of violence, in the family. And my father was not there, was never there. So it was just my mother and us two. And there were 2 years in Spain that were very, kind of decisive for lives. It put a lot of kind of trauma, and it was at that time that like I started like insulting her, but that kept. And then with the fasting, that part of your life, that part of my life started to being worked upon, and I realized, man, if I'm pushing the fasting and I keep on living the way I live, I'm gonna get hurt. It's just amazing, man. It's just amazing. But letting
Awesome.
it go, letting it go, like, no, there's so much, man. And you cannot never take it so personal, because, we all arrive, even though we have consciousness, we arrive as kids, and we're all in a big, long marathon of clearing a lot of stuff. If we really want to hit the goal, there is just so much, man. And then every soul I touch in the streets, I always try to have really deep, intimate conversations with people. I always share about everything I'm doing in my life, to people, like, even like, maybe fasting, whatever. And some people, they just, I don't know, we get to catch on a certain flow. They share something, and then, yes, whatever. But it's just that, just humility, man. Just humility. That, oh man, there's a lot to do. I mean,
Yeah.
nothing to do,
So
actually. There's a lot to allow. That's a better word. Man, yeah, I'm fired up, honestly. Like, these days, I don't sleep too much, even though I've been kind of, yeah, eating. I'm just trying to. Ah, so much pressure, so much pressure. But it's good, because before that, could not really handle that amount of pressure to really stay there, because, oh man, the mind wants to run away so hard. Especially when you let yourself go for a bit of time, you want to keep on going and run away, but no, 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 because it's very funny how you get to forget and things draw you. All the plants, they're very possessive as well. They're spirits if you eat them and consume them. So in a not with a correct attitude of gratitude and grace, but of greedy, you want to consume. I want my share of the cake. And you start playing with another, with another side of reality that want to keep you there. And yeah, you talk about, external stuff, forces, demons and all that. It's like stuff that, it's energy that is always there, waiting for you to slip just a little bit, to start dragging you. And the more light you carry, the deeper you go, also the stronger it will catch you next time. And man, that is amazing. That is really amazing. Like, wow. And this game demands so much integrity. I go crazy some days, you know, I go crazy and I'm like, man, I'm still on this. Come on. And then like, you know, the comment I make to myself from deep inside is like, well, it's obvious you still haven't resolved it. You haven't taken the time yet to just sit down and stop running around in your circles and your programs. Oh man, but you know, it's that feeling that you're fearful of facing yourself, but even though you know that when you face yourself, the only thing that you will face truly is love. You know, if you're truly there to be there for you, you'll get to what? Love, you know, for whatever it is, whatever it was. And that's when the tears start coming down. And you're like, oh, why did I do this to myself? You know, some tears, bit of sadness. Then yeah, reconciliation. Or just a lot going on over here, Gino. Just sharing a bit, you know, some stories.
Life is beautiful.
Yeah, life
Just,
is beautiful, truly.
allow
Yeah.
allow things to unfold, and you know, the goal. What's the ultimate goal? Death. Jump the fence, leave this body in a beautiful, peaceful manner. You know,
Right.
in a healthy state would be nice.
Exactly.
You know, I think a lot. You know, I've heard a majority of people just say, you know, you only live once. Let's enjoy it. That's, you know, big major statement. And you know, we see with the Generation X of what's been happening, and they take these huge risks and these wild sports and all that kind of stuff, and they have they don't put any value to the life. They just want to
Right.
have fun, right?
Yeah.
Whatever definition they have for us fun,
Exactly.
because everybody has a different definition. But you know, these extreme things are very, very dangerous, and many people lose their lives. And all for what? For that stimulation, for that whatever short
Adrenaline.
period of time. Yeah, it's very addictive. Stimulations. That's what
Yeah,
keeps the world.
especially.
That's what keeps the world going into the direction of imbalance.
Exactly. And especially, you know, also, you know, we're all craving self-recognition, but if we don't give it to ourselves, we'll seek it outside, you know. And you see, I mean, especially right now with the social media, just the trend of anything that is there, you know, in whatever community, even in the health community, you know, that's an aspect of materialism very present, like seeking, you know, the recognition of someone else. And you know, if we're not careful with that, you know, and we really cannot stay in really in our ground, really in our space, you'll fall for others' illusions as well. That's fun. Yeah, but as you said, you know, we have different definitions of fun because YOLO, you only live once, let's have fun. But yeah, no. And you know, I try hard actually to do, you know, these kind of things of partying, you know, going out in certain evening and partying, and it never got to me. And I think, you know, there's really very few moments that you do that you're actually having fun, you know, because you feel sometimes for a lot of us, you know, we're just brought into this world of, yeah, as you said, consumption. You just have to go out there and actually consume, you know, it's part of the ritual. You know, we go there to consume something, you know, sometimes we get lost in this.
Socializing, yeah.
Yeah, but even
I-
sometimes we forget about the true intention. It should be to socialize, but we just go there to stand with the drink. You know, I remember so
Or
many
in
times.
their cell phones now. I love socializing. I love being with people. You
Yeah,
know,
exactly. You know,
breaking the bread with people. You know, whatever, consuming things with people. It's a great enjoyment because it's coming from the Italian heritage. You know, it was a wonderful thing growing up. We were always
exactly.
with
That's a
family.
real
Big,
thing.
big family. We were always with family. And then as we grew up, and it started fading away, that part. And now it doesn't happen, hardly ever happens anymore. So I miss that. You know, it was a wonderful thing. And you know what I said, divide and conquer. They attacked the family unit, and so
Exactly. We don't need to go to a disco to really have that kind of fun. You can make it happen anytime, anytime at your place. You put in some music, you know what? You say, I'm going to dance. Sometimes I do that, in the evening. I set some good songs and I just start dancing.
The disco days.
But-
But I don't, growing up, I remember, I don't know your age, but we used in the Toronto area, you can leave your doors unlocked and everything, and there was no issues. And now that we have more knowledge and more of this and more of that and more of everything, where are we going? We're going in places that are not with balance. You have to lock your doors, you have to be aware there's much more violence. What's going on the planet? We have to ask ourselves, what's going on? Why are we going in that direction? And globally it's happening. In some areas it's much safer and better than others, but overall around the whole planet it's moving in that direction. Why is it going in that direction? We have to ask ourselves. So there's something that's moving us towards imbalance, and there's these forces that are drawing us to that imbalance.
Right,
Materialism is one of the major ones.
Exactly. That's the main thing that we have to work on. We're talking about emotional momentum, and as you just said right now, there's something that just is pushing us very fast down that road as well, because there is so many generations of this kind of wrongdoing, not in the judging aspect, but just because it's so out of line. And you realize, there's just construct of energies, spirits, entities, whatever, just infinite, just a game that we created that's driving us to where? Just to full destruction.
Can you imagine humanity takes on the art of subtraction? Less is more. What the changes we see? It would be remarkable. You'd see a fast switch towards balance. Right. What happened when we locked down the last 2 years was a perfect example. What happened in nature and so things were going back to balance.
Right, yeah.
Less. Everyone's at home, less traveling, less everything. We enjoy socializing, but you need to also enjoy the time with yourself and your creator all alone. Because we're never all alone, we're with all one. And enjoy it all.
Exactly.
In balance. But many of us are looking for continual stimulation, to always be socializing continually. Some people cannot be by themselves. They go crazy. They need to be always socializing. And that's where you move towards imbalance. But it's very, very obvious from what I see. That's my humble opinion. That's what's driving us towards imbalance. Always needing a stimulation and always needing to do
something. Exactly, man.
Consuming whatever. Now it's something.
Exactly. Not being able to face ourselves. Yeah. So what we look for stimuli. I mean, in that case, living life, you're in this consumption cycle, but being in that vicious cycle where we at, today, that we completely also forgot about the manufacturing process of everything. We don't value what we have in front of us, that's just
throwaway society.
Yeah, no, it's just gone too far, really, really too far. Just lack of awareness, and you see it's just the drive of unconsciousness, that we're playing with sticks of dynamites and fire at the same time, and well, yeah, but we can keep the hope high, because I think you said as well, we only need like a few % of us to really make a change, and I think that's very true, because there will always be a herd that follows, just a bright light, the power of one single bright light, and I mean, of course, following is not really, but in any case, what kind of system would we like to live in? I think, there needs to be, I think as well, like a representative, like someone that has very high level of spirituality, whatever it may mean, it should be chosen. There should be someone that needs to be found, across communities. Like, for example, you're in your community there, you try to find the wisest person in another community, and then they join, and all the way in the world, and imagine being led this way. Always think about that, because that is something I would really like to bring into this world, like kind of certain change. This is not political, it's just respecting the elders as well, those that come with experience and have
Yeah, absolutely. Gotta respect everybody, especially the elders.
yeah, that's also something that, I mean, even myself, like sometimes I fell in the trap, taking it for granted, again, that I truly consider, for example, like, making an extra effort to really consider those that came before you and have that empathy that they may have, whatever they come from, they have something, to offer. We all have something beautiful to offer.
Absolutely. All right, let's wrap her up. It's been another blast having you on, Marvin.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, you too. Yeah, nice. Always nice, to get reminded of the good things, to keep living in and loving it. The system is just amazing. Like, I feel so blessed. I don't need to find, man, I had it really easy to just have something, to come back to. And because, sometimes the mind go into despair mode and it feels it's lost, and then you're like, you see your bottle of juice and it reminds you of a whole system. And you're like, it's true. Oh, it's true. I have an emergency escape. Well, not even emergency. It's just, I have just the road there, the road that's driving me. Whatever we chose, right? We chose Master Fast. Also, how we adapt it to our lives. That's personal, and that's a journey that we all have to, find out for ourselves.
That's it. There's infinite ways you can do things, but this path we found is most potent I've seen, and it's very, very safe and effective.
Yeah.
All right. Have a good morning there, and
Yeah, thank you, Gene. Have a good evening there. Many blessings to all, and everybody take care.
Yeah, have a great weekend. See you next week. Ciao.
See you. Ciao.